Welcome everybody to the panel with the highest number 16, the last day of the conference. We're happy to have you here, and we will be talking about Poland and the Baltics. So for Berlin, it's just around the corner, but sometimes it's even just around the corner. It's an unknown country. So we want to shed more light on the fiber situation in Poland, in Lithuania, and in Latvia. And I'm very happy to have a very distinguished panel, even for this late session. And in speaking order, it will be Uldis Tatarcuks from TED in Latvia, and then we have Giedrius Pūras from the Lithuanian regulator. Then we have Jean-Marie Harion from Play, the CEO of Play, and Jacek Wiśniewski from the Polish operator NEXERA. So I hope you will have an interesting and very short time, and you don't feel it will be then 15:45 when we'll end the panel, the session, and basically also the conference. So let's kick off with Uldis and his short intro.
Yeah, so my name is Uldis. I'm representing operator. We are a fixed-only operator. So we are not anymore sure who we are. We are also providing TV services. We are selling electricity. We have developed our own OTT platform, which is like software as a service concept we are offering to other operators. So in 2007, we understood that we have a challenge, because at that time we had zero fiber in our network. Today we have quite huge access. We can access from our network more than 60% of households in Latvia. So it was obvious choice for us. But we see a fiber not only as a broadband business, but also as an entrance point to our clients' homes. So we believe if you are dealing with that, then your home is super. So we are providing much more pay TV, electricity services. We are selling dishwashing machines, TV sets, whatever you need for one home from one supplier. Easy, convenient, and very flexible. And yes, we are also operating in data centers, in cybersecurity. We have a huge deals with many Ukrainian companies, because for obvious reasons they like to relocate their critical infrastructure to a safer place. So we are providing one, and we are doing okay. And we also believe that we are a bit over-regulated. As incumbents always think we have a good arguments, we believe, why it's happening so. So we do believe really that the fiber is obvious choice, very sustainable, eco-friendly, and so on. Also, as from a fixed operator perspective, we believe that we have a huge business potential, not only for B2C segment, but also for mobile operators, because they will need fiber to every corner on every street. So that's very shortly about us, who we are and what we do.
Yeah, thank you, Uldis. And if an incumbent operator is still doing okay and thinks he's overregulated, he must be healthy. So that's good to see. But now, as you mentioned, an NRA and a regulator, we certainly have provided one here, and that's Giedrius. So we would like to hear from a regulator, what is your perspective on fiber, and especially fiber in Lithuania?
All right, thank you. So my name is Giedrius Pūras. I'm the member of the council of the Lithuanian regulator, and I worked for the regulator 21 years already. So practically from the beginning of the regulation and joining the EU. Yeah, so first things first, so Lithuania is a small country, 2.9 million people, which 1/3 of that lives in the rural areas, which is kind of interesting points for a fiber rollout. And here we can see the countryside, how it looks like. So we have a flat land, no mountains, nothing. soft soil, so it's very good to dig. So that's more important things for the rollout of fiber, probably. From the regulatory perspective, I am representing the only one, the regulatory side, the governmental side here. So a little bit of challenge, but the few points. So shared use of infrastructure, probably you have heard. So we have a long history. The cable TV operators were the first movers in the fiber market, and only afterwards the incumbent responded to that threat. So, and regulatory measures on the incumbent, which is still quite regulated, mostly regulated. Not that much as before, but the essential parts, which are the ducts in Lithuania, under special magnification glass of the regulator. Yeah, so first, if we want cheap fiber, we can have the situation as the picture above, but fortunately or unfortunately, in Lithuania at least, we have the environmental regulations long time ago, which says that everything has to be underground. And that was in the times of the privatization. So even the rural areas, so the incumbent had to strip all the poles and put everything underground. And at the same time, there were solutions to be found how to make it cheaper, because if you require everything under the ground. So that, and we see this is the picture from FTTH console, very long, very old one, but you all know that civil works amount the huge percentage of the greenfield deployments of the fiber. So that's why in Lithuania, so as I said, we had infrastructure sharing in the laws from 1998. Actually, long time before the Broadband Cost Reduction Directive came, and currently, yesterday it was told that the GA is already approved, so we are waiting the next step in this direction. And as a regulator, we have a small part in the construction, competition improvement, but it's mainly the construction environmental laws, not our things. And radio spectrum, this is as well very important thing on the wireless. Asymmetrical measures, so the Uldis already told that there is a specific regulation which is directed mostly to the incumbents. So that we are active on this part. Recently, we have did the geographical mapping, so we published a map, and we will be publishing even more detailed information. The intention is to lighten up where there are wide zones, and we intend to split it by the density of the territory. So the idea is to allow the potential fiber investors to see potential where to invest in the market. And we feel that the density of the households and density of population is one of the key factors whether to invest or not. If there will be no private investments, then this information for state aid is also useful. A little bit of history. So as I said, you can see here that the incumbent was not the first into the fiber market. So the alternative network operators, basically the cable operators, went there first, and only after 3 years the incumbent responded with a heavy investments actually. So. But more or less, right now the situation is stable over for almost 6 years, even more. And there is a growth, but the market share is to be kept the same. So what is interesting that infrastructure sharing led so that Lithuania is the infrastructure-based competition, so that the alternative operators, even small ones, they rent the ducts, they pull their own fiber in there. And wholesale access lines is not very common. It's 2.5, 2.8%, something like that. There is to show that there is a really correlation between the usage of the ducts and the fiber rollouts. Little insights of markets, how we see the market in Lithuania. So we say it's a good quality internet access. On the fixed part, it's mainly fiber, 80%, and mobile internet, it's, on average, it's more than 100 megabits per second. It's affordable, so the fiber 20.5 euros per month, and mobile is even less, 8.8 euros. Good coverage, we think. The fiber covers households past something like 78% of the households could have the fiber if they would like to. Mobile, almost the same. 100 megabit per second is available for 79% of the households. So the fixed market is dominated already 10 years by the fiber. What we see happening, actually, so on the incumbent side, we see the copper switch off, but it's market-driven copper switch off. On the altnet side, we see the cables being replaced by the fiber, which is quite natural trends, I guess. Here's the picture just to show you that it's quite, Lithuania stands quite high by the fiber subscriptions of the total fixed subscriptions. And you can see our panel countries here. But itself, this doesn't say a lot. If we dive into the take-up and internet speeds, we see the increase of the high speeds. So it's increasing like 50%. So this blue line is the connections more than 1 megabit per second. Unfortunately, we don't have the more detailed split of that, but 96% of these connections are fiber connections. So that's growing, and 50% per year. But overall, fixed connections in Lithuania are not that popular, so that we stand in quite low here. But the neighboring countries as well. So the rural, of course, the coverage is not that high. It's about 40% of households. And this is the challenge we have to tackle. Here you can see the situation in our panel countries as well. It's growing. You can see here it's growing, but still it's 40% is something we have to do that in the future. Okay, so the rural challenge, the second challenge, it's on the question mark whether it's challenge or not. But if we look at the revenues, so the revenue growth is in the mobile side. So fixed side is kind of stable. It's growing, but it's very, very small pace. On the mobile, we had the 5G, and you can see the download speeds are measured actually by the regulator, and they increased two times within 2 years. And you can see the first mover in 5G has on average 200 megabit per second, so you can compare. And that's why I say the Lithuanians love mobile internet. So if we take top 10 OECD countries, according to the subscriptions per 100 inhabitants, Lithuania is there. And the usage of mobile data, the Lithuania is fourth in this ranking. Yeah, and Latvia is the first one. Okay. Yeah, sure. So, and about the prices, so that's kind of affordable prices. So this is the point topic ranking table. We are the fourth one. And you can see the by technologies. So the fiber technologies, there is a 50% premium for the fiber to the home comparing to the fiber to the basement building. And last year, it has grown 10%. Over 3 years, it has grown 25%. And the mobile is 8%, but it's not big news. It's all over the place, probably. The inflation is one of the drivers. So the question is whether the mobile is a competitor or supplement to the fixed. There's subscribers by the technology, the last slide I have. So far, we see a slight growth even in the fixed subscriptions, so we don't see the substitution. So the subscribers we don't see subscribers going from the fixed to the mobile side, but the mobile side itself is growing quite on the fast pace. So there were my few slides. Thank you for the time.
Yeah,
but I had to present the whole country, not the company myself. So.
Yeah, thank you, Giedrius, for this comprehensive overview, not only about Lithuania, but of all the countries covered here. So very good insights, especially onto the power of mobile, if we're talking about, let's say, from a consumer perspective, a combined market or not. But now let's move over to Poland, to Jean-Marc. What is your take?
Thank you. So I'm the proud CEO of Play in Poland. So a word of introduction, of course, we are here to speak about fiber and the challenges of fiber in Poland, but Play is natively a mobile operator. We have a long history of disruption of the telco market in Poland because we arrived on the Polish market, we were launched on the Polish market 17 years ago as the fourth entrant on the mobile, and we managed to gain the #1 position after 10, 12 years. We were acquired by the Iliad Group, so we are, I would say, part of this international group, and we are growing at the same pace as the rest of the group. And 2 years ago, we decided to acquire UPC Polska, the major Polish cable cos, but with a clear intent, which was to turn UPC Polska into a fiber company and to create a fiber co. So that's what we did. We carved out the cable infrastructure of UPC. We put it in a separate JV company together with our partner Infravia. And we now operate the largest fiber co in Poland, not the only one, but it's a fiber co, of course, based on an open reach. Its name is Polskie Światłowód Otwarte, which means open Polish fiber. And maybe I should explain why we decided to enter the fiber game. It's because it appeared to us, and still it's the situation today, that the broadband, the fixed broadband in Poland is not equally distributed over the population. So there is a paradox in Poland where you have probably a little bit more than 30% of the households with no broadband access in the rural areas, in the small cities. But in the meantime, in the urban dense zones, you have a clear overlap of networks due to the history, the legacy, a huge competition in the city centers, but a very difficult access to broadband in the rural areas. And this, of course, is amplified by the fact that we have a kind of world record in Poland, which is the highest number of ISPs. We have more than 2,000 small local ISPs. And we have mountains, we have quite difficult geographies, and the population distributed, I would say, quite equally over this large territory, which explains why we have these discrepancies. But on top of that, of course, we have very cheap retail price and ARPU. So we have the ARPU for fixed broadband is approximately the half of the ARPU of the average ARPU in the EU. And another paradox is that we have been one of the first countries in Europe who has deregulated the access to the fixed infrastructure. So a lot of monopolies, still local, but as well, of course, nationwide monopoly of the incumbent, inequalities, no growth. The market is not growing in value. And we decided that this was an opportunity for us, Play, after acquiring UPC Polska, to make another disruption, to introduce another disruption in this market. So this is what we did. So literally 1 year ago, because the company was established on the 1st of April 2023, we created the biggest open fiber co in Poland with Polskie Światłowód Otwarte. It's, of course, a bold move. When you acquire a cable co, to immediately open the network in order to expand it nationwide and to upgrade it to fiber, but that's what we did. So we are turning UPC Polska legacy network, HFC network, into a fiber, and of course a fiber network. And of course we use this opportunity to set a new standard in the market, immediately starting the upgrade in XGS-PON, launching, for instance, 5 gigabits per second internet in Poland, first operator to do so. And now with the largest footprint, we of course intend to set an example. And this example is of course an example that we hope some of our competitors will do. We have already allies in this matter. You will hear another example in a few minutes with the NEXERA example, which is one of the open fiber cos in Poland. We are a few of them, but of course we still don't represent 100% of the market, and we want to evangelize this example. And we believe that there are a lot of benefits for the society, for the government, for the population, to foster the development of open fiber, because today, of course, we are struggling to really optimize the investment. Of course, there is an intent to make Poland a digital country with the vast majority, let's say 25% of the homes connected to by fiber. But that implies that all the investors and the operators coordinate their efforts together with the government. And instead of distributing, for instance, some incentive and pocket money from the EU funds to local initiatives, we believe that we should have a kind of broader discussion with the other open fiber cos in Poland, with the regulator, with the government, in order to coordinate our efforts. That's what happened in other countries. We will come back on that. As well, to homogenize the process, because Poland is, if I may say, I've been in the country for 6 years, so I'm authorized to say that we are quite a bureaucratic country in some aspects. And as well, I believe that there is a common goal that we need to follow, which is to collectively educate the population so that everybody will understand the benefit of having a fast-speed connection at home. So that was the message. There were the messages that I wanted to pass.
Thank you.
Great.
So now to Jacek for a different perspective, maybe.
Okay, NEXERA, multi-fiber, one time, many options to switch the ISPs wherever you would like. Of course, during the contract you can't, but after some period of time you can switch easily. Currently on our network are around 60 independent ISPs connected, so we can choose out of 60 offers. Of course, we have Play on board, but also Orange, T-Mobile, Polkomtel. So every big names are with us from the beginning. And the smaller operators, locally based, are also trying to use and utilize our infrastructure, not overbuilt. I would like to show you this Polish market in three perspectives. The first is the question about, okay, we have the network, and we see that the saturation of the network is around 30%. So what are the reasons why people are not connecting to this broadband access? And this is the question to those population, and you see the answers. 60% of those people saying, I have the contract, mobile access is sufficient, I don't need it. This is our challenge, how to convince them to switch. And the second question is even more important. What might convince you to switch to the fiber? Nothing. And how we can deal with this. So this is one perspective. This is not easy market and not easy to convince people to switch to the fixed line business, while in the last years, many years, they were incentivized to switch to the mobile because the fixed line fiber connections was not available. So for many of them, the mobile access was the only option to connect to the online world. And it's, this is life. This is how it is. So now it's time to really switch and change the mindset to use the opportunities to the fiber. Second perspective is this, I'm sure I will just click it because someone made the animation. It wasn't my idea. The perspective of the legal regulation. There are a lot of regulations on this market, and some obstacles we need to work on. Let me just mention about taxes and fees, for example. We are not talking about this here, but in generally, when you construct something in Poland, you need to pay the real estate tax, for example. So if they are treated, I mean local authorities, as an investor and someone who will pay the tax and full their budget with some money, and not as someone who opened the digital world to switch the mentality, to go to the sustainability, open access to everybody, connect everybody. If they treat it like just someone who's paying taxes, then probably the investments will be a little bit stopped because it's very expensive to construct and then pay. They pay taxes. I think also there's some discussion about limiting the possibilities of sales, like only selling in selling points. While we are constructing in rural areas, small towns, villages, where to sell something you need to knock to the doors. The door-to-door sales is very active, and many of our customers, ISPs, are using this kind of methodology to reach the customers. If it will be blocked, then probably our footprint will be really blocked for the residents. So that's just the example, because on the end of the day it didn't pass through. But this idea, I understand the logic and why it might be important in general, but sometimes I think we need to not thinking from the place on the big towns, but also where the infrastructure is located, because those people live completely in different timing. In the they are used to open the door and talk with someone who would like to sell something, and the sales points is disturbed and is in a remote side, like 20, 30 kilometers from them. So it's not easy to change something or order something. So this is another one, and I think that some regulations, I might say, are going too far. NEXERA is an open access network. We are pure wholesaler, and I believe that market will regulate us. If we put the prices too high, then I will not earn money, because nobody will buy the services because he can't make the margin on the services I selling to him. I will lose. If I set too low, then my investors and my money invest will not be pay back anyway. So I'm automatically designated to put the prices which are in line and correct to my customers to sell the services on my network, because I can survive and pay my loans or interest. On the other hand, I have to put the prices on the right level to set the investment return. So my point is that sometimes I feel that we are too regulated, especially the organization like we are, that this is not the typical telecommunication operator. I can do margin squeeze, I can do many things. What I can do is just provide the cable to the house with a good price. And I think sometimes we should focus rather on this. And also the geopolitical situation, which is not easy as well. This all what's happening now because of the war in Ukraine, these cyber attacks, there's something to challenge. in our hands, our telco hands. We need to really take care and be careful about it. But also sometimes changing, because of the democracy, the governmental change is very good. But on the other hand, some predictability in long run is very important for us as well. Because investment we are doing now in fiber, the return will be in 10, 15 years. And I need to invest now. So if I don't have some, predictability, stability, something what I can, distribute and put in my business case in the long run, then it will be very difficult to attract investors to invest today. And I think sometimes we forget about it as well. So this is very important, and I think this digital sector, telecommunication, cyber sector should be more treated as something which is common for everybody, and not, in 4 years perspective because of the elections. So that's it for me on the beginning. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Jacek. So we saw quite different perspectives on a region, and it showed certainly also quite a lot of difference in the markets. And we got a glimpse of that already from Giedrius' presentation on what is the biggest competitor of fiber, and it shows also in your presentation concerning mobile. So it seems like mobile is, at least in those countries, stronger than it might be in other countries as someone or as a competitor to challenge penetration. But could you elaborate a little bit more on that one, how you see it, for instance, Uldis in Latvia? And I know that, or we told me that it's quite a unique situation that the incumbent fixed net operator is not also a mobile operator, which was almost common in Europe.
Yeah, we are unique.
Yeah, in more than one way.
So yes, we do see in our regions that 5G connection, which is already completely implemented by marketing department in mobile operators, not by technology departments yet, but it's a real competitor to fiber. So clients are not willing to discuss microfiber ducts or 120 nanometers or FTTH or DVDM or any other technology. They are just wanting broadband. And the big advantage for mobile operators for 5G with the average speed like 200 megabits is you can plug one socket to the electricity and it's up and running. With fixed network, you need somebody to install something at your house, and as soon as we say, okay, now we are taking the drills, client is saying, whoa, whoa, whoa. It's too complicated, you will damage something onto those. So the network installation is tricky part, and our main competitor actually is mobile broadband, yes.
And it's because fixed net deployment takes time, and it takes basically, as also Jacek said, talk to people. They cannot take their, let's say, connection from a store home, but basically you need to door to door, you need to convince them to also talk to them to say, where do you want the fiber? I'm going to come with the fiber in X weeks.
And of course, also very complex construction regulation is not helping. If you want to dig something, I believe I need 16 signatures for every project in Latvia, from the heating company, from the gas company, electricity company, and sometimes even from companies which are more than 100 kilometers away from the site I'm digging. So it's happening all around, and this is creating a huge problem and huge costs also in Latvia, like in many other countries. And yeah, we need to address that. So the same as in Poland, drastic simplification of construction process. That will help too. And I, as always, selling to my colleagues, we should look in a mirror. Most probably we are not doing very good job at explaining to the society why the fiber connection is the thing you really need, what it gives you.
So when I looked into Giedrius' presentation, I saw that, for instance, fiber penetration as built is leveling off, at least in Lithuania. Is that also the picture you see in Poland, in Latvia, and also, Giedrius, if you could elaborate a bit on what you see as the reasons why it's leveling off in Lithuania.
Yeah, so that's what we have in Lithuania, actually. So I think that the competitive areas where the operators could have rolled out the fiber, they already filled. And we have the 83% overbuild. So that means 83% of users that have possibility to connect the fiber have a choice from two. At least from two operators. As I said, they are infrastructures with their own infrastructures. So, and that's because of the access to the ducts. And ducts are in the cities, and the rural areas don't have the ducts. So that's the challenge that we will see. Regarding the constructions, during this conference, it was emphasized many times. So from the regulatory perspective, I see that there are at least three, any country you can divide at least in three areas. So the area where the competition is and might be, and it can support even more than one. We have heard a lot about the overbuild is good or not. So probably there is an area where it could support economically, so the density of subscribers potential. Only one, but then in this area probably the cooperation or some kind of collaborative instruments could work. And then the third area where no one would go, and the state aid should have those. So if we, as Europe, actually now with this regulation, bring down the cost of rolling out the fiber. So we basically what we do, we expand the borders of the first competitive area, and of course of the second. And then the instrument that could work, it's up to the regulation. But the regulators, we promote actually to lowering these construction obstacles. But it's not in our hands actually, like directly we don't do these kind of regulations. And on the mobile side, what we see in Lithuania, that's my personal view, so that the countries have pushed 5G as well. So the 5G, they need to monetize these investments as well. So what, at least in Lithuania, they start heavily promoting 5G for home as a competitor to the wired connection. So we don't see yet, as I said, the drop in the fixed subscriptions, but we see a huge rise in the mobile. It might be the substitute, it might be the supplement. It depends in the future. But the thing that it was mentioned several times here, that we need to explain the people why do you need the fiber, and I think this is the big challenge. There is no killer application. So there is no killer application that you would need a fiber for, so that I can have a TV on a mobile with a 200 megabit per second. That's no problem. I can have on the DSL with the vectoring and etc. So why do we need the fiber for? So, and that can be a question for the Europe. So if we put all the actions right now are on the supply side. Okay, we build the networks. There are networks, but the demand side, it's a little bit abandoned to my thinking. So that's we speak about the e-health, all the big applications, but there is a critical mass already in the Europe for the fiber connections. Why there is no killer application yet? So maybe that's
neatly shown also in the fiber panorama that was presented yesterday, and I think we'll come to that also in a second here. again, because that's, I think, the most pressing question. But I would like to come back first to the issue of dynamics in deployment, in rollout. What is your perspective, either from Latvia or from Poland? Whoever wants to go first, is it leveling off? Have you already reached a saturation point, or can we expect a big push?
Yes. When you're talking about the physical rollout of the network, I think that the last years we teach everybody in Poland how it should look like in general, not only we as an NEXERA, but I think all the guys who construct the network, because I remember 6 years ago when we started the discussion with the power companies for the leasing of electrical poles to hang the cables, they were completely unprepared, completely. Now it's more smooth lining. We also teach the local authorities how the decision should be made. You know, a lot of things and small things, of course, a lot of stamps we need to collect over the designing, and it's still happening, but at least I have the feeling that everybody understands now how it should look like. It was a complete disaster, I think, 5 or 6 years ago. Now it's better. So when I look on this, I think the rollout is a little bit more smoother, but still it's not easy to construct in Poland. This formality takes something between 18 to 24 months to start digging the cables or hanging the cables on the poles, and then the physical work like 6 months, 9 months maximum. So this proportion is completely unacceptable, especially when we talk not only about fiber rollout, but also when we talk about 5G implementation. I can't imagine how we can construct 20,000 base stations in this environment of the construction law. It's in the specific time. It will be very difficult for me to really understand how they would like to deal with this. But this is one thing. So I think it's a little bit better, but still between some governmental bodies are not really coordinated. I think it should be better. When we talk about take-up rate, customer, I think our main competitor is people mindset. You know, we have to find a way how to convince those people to switch to this new technology. And especially when you saw on my presentation that 80% of them saying, I don't need it. This is the statement which is very difficult to change. And I think this is my main challenge. And I don't really care how we will do it today, but I think we need to focus on this, to really fighting in the different directions, to find the way, find the key, to open those doors. Like, you know, you can dish your... You can wash your dishes manually, or you can buy the dishwasher. You know, it's like exactly the same. So I think we need some time to people understand that maybe they can use other technologies at home and other when they are moving. Nobody's saying quit mobile. It's impossible. You need mobile phone and phone mobile handset. But what we are talking is, when you are at home, please switch to the fixed line to increase your satisfaction and customer experience. And that's it, the same physical handset, mobile handset, but in a different environment. And so I think this is my main competitor, how to, you know, attract those people, how to change the mindset, to switch, to use it, to make them feel that I need it. I really need this solution at home.
Jean-Marc, as a mobile operator and fixed fiber operator, and also with some experience in the group of other European countries like France, like Italy, what do you make of it?
Wow, I love that, but no. No, I tend to agree with Jacek and disagree that there is a competition between mobile internet and fixed internet. It's a question of overall evolution of the market. Of course, in Poland as well, we have still today something like 45% more or less of internet users that have the mobile network as their primary access. And you know, when we acquired UPC, I spent quite a lot of time on the field, you know, visiting the houses in rural Silesia, I remember, And I was very surprised. You know, we were knocking at the door of farms. So I discovered big difference with France, for instance. People were opening the door and inviting you for a cup of tea. We are selling something, but you know, we are very welcome. Big difference. Don't do that in France. You will be shot at sight. But after that, we started discussing, and of course, it's the family structure in Poland is very broad. So there are 2 generations living in the same house, and you could see that, of course, the husband, I would say the grandfather, was saying, no, I have my mobile connection, it works very well, and I can read my emails on my phone, I don't need fiber. And the fiber was passing, it was in a Tauron area, so it was passing in front of the house. So literally it was super easy to connect it. And then you had the second generation, you know, standing just a little bit 2 meters away saying, maybe he will change his mind, maybe he will change his mind, because of course they knew that they would need it. So I would say it's a question of generation. Countries like Spain, France, the UK, we're in the same situation as we are in Baltics, in Poland today. And of course it comes with the maturity of the usage. But let's not forget that in Poland, for instance, we have a dying technology that will mechanically push customers to fiber, which is the DTH. A lot of people still watch television using a satellite dish today, and there are 2 major TV operators in Poland using the DTH technology. Of course, we have cable television as well. So when there is cable television, of course, there is fixed broadband, UPC, HFC, internet is super fast. It's more than 1 gigabit per second. It's the same for Vectra, the competitor, because it's DOCSIS 3.1, etc. In some areas, at least, but we can provide a very good internet. So the problem is not too much about the cable co, who already provide the television. It's about the areas where the television was supposed to receive by aerial connection or by satellite dish. And of course, this technologies is limited. So when people start using other TV products like streaming platforms, Netflix, HBO, whatever, they are inclined to use other technologies, and then there is a renewal. And then of course there is the benefit of having spent 2 years in a lockdown, in a COVID lockdown, like everywhere. So people have started using massively video conferencing, meaning that they're experiencing, they need new usages. So we are at the beginning. Behaviors are evolving, usages are evolving. Of course, we can accelerate. We can educate the customers. It's still a market, a price-driven market, meaning that people are still looking at the price before at the internet speed. But I'm sure it will evolve, and definitely we don't see any competition between mobile connectivity, mobile internet, and fixed internet. Otherwise, of course, as a mobile operator, we wouldn't have made the move to acquire a fixed operator. We believe that there is a complementarity because mobile is for individuals, meaning small devices, and of course fixed is for the family, for the home, and you use the signal on larger devices, larger screen. So the 2 usages correspond to different type of behaviors. Data consumption, and it will be, you have kids at home, teenagers, grown-up kids, youngsters, you know, everybody wants its own windows to freedom, which is its own data connection. And you will never replace that, and I don't believe that there will be a substitution. There will be maybe a rebalancing in the traffic, but the two technologies will coexist to develop the new usages.
Thank you, Jean-Marc. So if I may ask Uldis also to comment a bit on the rollout situation, but on the other hand, when I saw your presentation, you are basically, you sell a lot of services apart from broadband. So would you, and now seeing the statistics also provided here that the Latvians use mobile even more than the Lithuanians, and Giedrius said, you can watch TV over mobile, what's the problem? You as a heavy provider of TV services, how do you see that in this multi-complex picture?
Well, in this complex picture, the good thing is that it's like a puzzle. It's complementing each other. For example, we are providing also 3 TV channels. We are producing them ourselves. And like 6 weeks ago, we started the biggest launch of TV series we shot ourselves. We are like Hollywood studio. So it also drives the demand for fiber. Our TV concept complements fiber. It's convenient to buy electricity. You can see daily consumption of different devices on our mobile apps. So it's a complex world. You should approach it in that way. And talking about watching TV on 5G at home, yes, if you live alone. Sure. If you have kids doing something on e-school application, then your wife is not watching football Bundesliga, yeah? Most probably sometimes. Then again, then you will start to consider it. And so TV supports fiber, fiber supports TV, both supports electricity, and then we promote the dishwashing machines, which sooner or later will be connected to the fiber again. And your Dyson air dryer, not for me, but also
you don't need it. Yeah.
Connected. We look at the positive.
And the washing machine can substitute a TV program going around.
And the washing machine, we know what electricity price you have at what hour in the stock exchange. So we will make a smart automated decision to wash your trousers at night. So that's what it's happening in reality. We noticed that during this explosion of electricity prices 2 years ago, our customers adapted. Everybody started to wash everything during nighttime, and it will automate someday. I believe so.
So you're saying content, TV, and all the associated services is one of the main drivers of fiber adoption, because it's basically a service of fiber adoption in the home can serve the many, as Jean-Marc also said, and we have this private, like say, watch a video on YouTube or whatever,
here. Too often we are forgetting what the family wants. We as incumbent want you to buy fiber, yeah, but the family wants more than one service. Family wants ease of access. Family wants to push one button and have the easy life. So if we are able to provide easy lives, that's why I'm so surprised why no other telco operator in Europe is providing electricity resale services. Because we have a billing system already in place, no additional investment. We have a huge user database. Actually, we started to promote to our existing broadband clients. Now you can buy also electricity for us. It takes less than 20 seconds to switch the provider.
So we have very different business models here on stage, so very highly super integrated horizontally operator not connected to mobile, and we have
you know which company is also not connected to mobile?
What is?
Netflix. They don't own any networks at all, and that's why we implemented at one point, we had this discussion, we need a mobile, we cannot survive without a mobile license. Where can we get the mobile license? And then we started to think, come on, Netflix, Airbnb, Bolt, Uber, And we developed our OTT TV application. We are selling to other operators. And we are killing my colleague from mobile operator from Latvia. I really don't care about the video traffic amount I generate on their network. Like Netflix don't care about me or YouTube.
But where fiber gives you the bandwidth to really do not care. if it's 1 meg or more or less,
Yeah.
I think, yeah. Any other takes on the panel on what might be killer, you always have this discussion about killer application, which basically is not the case because a multitude of application that's enabled by fiber. But any other ideas on what helps to drive fiber adoption, or also in case of Lithuania, we saw there's not a lot of penetration, even if the fiber network is in place.
Yeah, so we have, actually I haven't mentioned here, but we have quite a good take-up rate comparing to what was presented yesterday. I'm not sure yet how it was calculated, but I did my own calculation, so the take-up in Lithuania is 70%. So 70% of the households that have ability to have the fiber subscription, they do have fiber subscription. But then I've mentioned already we have overbuilt. So most of them, they have 2 options. So if you take this from the market perspective to individual company perspective, so the take-up rate will be much, much lower, twice that size, maybe 40%, something like that. So that's the segment that we have covered with the fiber. Now the others, as I said, maybe there is a cooperation, other agreements, possibility to extend. I hope this market segment will extend with the GIA and with the removal of the obstacles to build the fibers. Coming back to the mobile, recently we did an end-user survey. 60% of them said that the mobile is a substitute for the fiber, for the fixed, yet to be dived into the details. And as I said, as Uldis said, there might be applications where multiple users use, then it's not enough, and etc. But this 200 is on average, so on average everywhere. So I've measured my 5G connection in the city. It gave me 750 megabit connection. So that's and it's not 5G standalone. So if we speak right now, so we should look in the future, and what would be the future killer application? If it would be such an application, I don't know, so that you would not get on any other technologies except fiber, then it would promote the fiber rollout very easily. But if you look at the European Commission as well calculated how much money do we need to achieve these targets. So yeah, that was 2 scenarios calculated. One scenario, so the 1 gigabit is served by the fixed technologies, that's it. The other scenario was that in rural areas, it's wireless, 5G wireless fixed access. So that's even we have to understand that probably the end user is the first to look into what does he needs, what are the needs, and from the regulatory perspective, then we choose the most efficient way to serve those needs. So that's I'm repeating myself. So that's I think with the supply side push, and that's a lot of work has been already done. There's a demand side waiting for, I guess.
Yeah, if I may, I don't know who is right. You know, it's a question of conviction, because we have every operator has a core business. Our core business is connectivity. I understand that yours is broad service, but what we are facing today with FTTH is a kind of transitory period. So we don't know how the customers' behaviors will evolve, and of course we are pushing in order to educate the customers to roll out our networks. But at least for us, being natively a retail and telecommunication operator in Poland, we believe that this potential that we have with the development of the fixed network can be unleashed only by a more clever collaboration between the government, the regulator, and the operators in order to open all the networks. So this is really important in order to avoid to overbuild the network in areas where they are already there, and make sure that we consistently cover the regions. Because today, and I speak for Poland, you know, it's maybe I should take another comparison, but we don't look like a Polish cheese, we look like a Swiss cheese. So there are holes everywhere in the footprint, and for all the operators, the fiber cos, whether it would be PSHO or NEXERA or fiber host, you know, it's complicated to just fill the holes in a small part, etc. So there are some public money available. One interesting fact, I believe, is to recognize that the way this money has been distributed in Poland is not efficient. All the fiber cos, or most of them, have received money to roll out money according to the latest KPO and FERTS programs. Almost all of us have refused all these slots because they are too small, and what we see is that once we are granted a small allocation of thousands of households in a region, immediately the price of the subcontractors increases because the same subcontractors are working for all the operators. So this is a nonsense. No, we are not optimizing the power of the open fiber operators available in Poland. We are not optimizing the public money. There should be more smartest way to coordinate the effort in order to avoid duplication, and of course, as Jacek was mentioning, to give comfort to the investors who are risking their own money in order to build this infrastructure. So we don't know what will be I would say, the success of the fiber in the future. I hope that I will be right, and that the penetration will increase significantly in all the footprints. But what I know is that if there are some uncertainties, we need to maximize the rationality of the investment and coordinate a real public-private policy to accelerate the development of fixed networks in Poland.
Okay. Jacek, do you want to comment on that? Otherwise,
yes.
I'll...
Yes, I have something to add, just a few words, because I don't see there is a one magic or someone will invent some new application or several applications will just speed up this connections. But I think in general, when we are talking about e-education, e-access to the local authorities, e-health, all of those things should work together. We make the research every year. We asking the people in our regions, also the local authorities, workers, teachers, entrepreneurs, about the digital world, about the fiber and other things. And for example, we discovered that in Poland, in local authorities, there are many of those people working in these authorities saying that we are access for our citizens 24/7 because we have these applications available. But people are still coming to us because they want to talk with us in person. And for the same questions about access to the local authorities, the citizens saying, yes, there is something on the web page, but it is completely we don't understand it at all. We need to talk with those guys to explain us how to fill these papers. So this is something what we need to work on, just to not just create something, tick, it's done. And I'm open. I'm in digital world because I prepared the paper, which is exactly scan of the documents, not ready to develop remotely online. So this is just the example. So this e-education, people need to know more information about what digital world really gives them, what opportunities. On the other hand, more efforts on the authorities to push to be open 24/7 online in a customer experience way to understand this logic. Yeah, and e-health. I think this is also very important. That I think this access to the doctor, medicine, nurse, 24/7 is also starting to be a problem because we are starting to be older and older. The population is quite common in Europe, so we have to think also in this direction that this also help us to keep us in the right shape.
Yeah, Uldis.
Maybe a short comment. We are looking for killer application, but maybe we should look at the killer pizza. You know what is killer pizza? It's a circle you see on the screen when something is not opening. So maybe the killer pizza from many applications will solve the issue.
And if the killer pizza is not created by the server on the other side, as we used to say when we deployed first DSL in Germany. Effectively, we have only a couple of minutes left, and I would like to surprise you with my final question, with just please everybody for a short answer. We've been looking for those things to increase take-up, and one of the things that also the FTTH Council said is necessary, what we can take from the Commission's white paper, is saying we need to think about copper switch-off and how copper switch-off in those areas where fiber networks are available. Is that a tool you think that will be useful, that will be necessary in your country, with your company, to take away the eternity option that some people think they have with copper and might make them think about moving to fiber? So who wants to go first? Do we have any volunteers?
I might take this, but yeah, I'm not representing any company, so that might be easier for me. So that and I am not in this way. I'm not representing the regulatory authority. It's my own opinion. So that's I already showed on the presentation that actually it happened already in Lithuania. The copper switch off. And it happened by the market powers, not because someone ordered that, but if I have the choice to have a DSL connection and copper connection and a fiber connection, of course I will go for the fiber connection. You've seen the prices are not that different. In some cases, and 70% of the people have done it. So yeah. So what? There is a question: would it be useful for the end user at the end? So how to force if the operators take out the copper, they put the fiber instead. So I think in Lithuania we have reached the area where the commercially feasible. We have it's a Ministry of Economy last month. They approved the digital decade strategy for Lithuania. There are money foreseen for reaching the rest areas, etc. So we will look on this issue.
So we see.
Yeah,
sorry,
but I would go for the market-based copper switch-off rather than enforced by the state.
We are killing or replacing copper without any regulation. So I don't really understand why we need it. The only thing we need is supporting funds for the rural areas. Because in city centers, we have already replaced all copper by fiber. There's a density of population, there's a positive business case. In rural areas in 2030, people will stay without connection if we have to forcefully switch off copper. That's it.
I believe that it's partly the same answer, but not totally. We are doing the same. We are replacing coax proactively by fiber. And we accelerate on that, but we are not the only one on the market. And I believe that for the incumbent operator, it would be great to have a deadline above which all the copper has to be replaced by fiber, and make this deadline hard, because we all know, whether we recognize it or not, that the slow transfer from copper to fiber is used by the incumbent to protect their market share over time. So yes, we would need to have, for the incumbent operators, a hard deadline.
Absolutely. Just switch it off, forget about it. There's no come on, guys. We are in the middle of 21st century. We shouldn't talk about, PSTN telephony, because someone needed. This is the mobile access, voice over Wi-Fi or fiber. Come on. It's like, don't wait. Don't waste time. It costs us too much energy. It is not efficient. It's not good for the environment. It's not good for us. There is the fiber there, so everywhere the fiber is, we should switch off the copper immediately, just to force people to switch off. Because I'm not agree really with the voice from the regulator about that people will automatically choose from DSL or cabled copper to the fiber, because for many people, existing infrastructure is sufficient, and if someone will replace my CPE, then I have the problem with the connection, everything what is connected now to these boxes, and who will fix it to me? But if they will force to, then suddenly a signal disappear. They do not have choice. They need to find a way, and they will find it. But if we gently ask them, please do it, maybe tomorrow, it will not work. Just shut it down, forget, put it to the river or to the sea, and go farther. 5G is in front of us, 6G, fiber. Come on, guys, it's time.
Actually, we are selling copper.
Oh, you
So
see.
if the copper prices goes up, we are not putting it to the sea.
Oh, okay. You are right. You are right.
Only for fishing,
it's very expensive.
fishing
Yes,
lures like
it's very expensive. We can do the beautiful things from this copper, as absolutely true.
sculptures.
Yeah, but those keys when we then lock the doors and through to the Baltic and not open this
But
case
again,
again.
we switched off PSTN network to save electricity and to reduce costs like 2 years ago without regulation.
Yeah, but what would happen, if you said immediately switch off this copper connection?
Yes, absolutely, tomorrow.
So do you think about the people? People
Yes.
would stay without any connection.
No,
then?
they have mobile.
And-
Everybody have mobile. Just
All
come on,
right, so
guys.
you're
It's,
promoting mobile.
So I see at the last minute I've created the most heated discussion here, but I think I can conclude if in every country we would have an incumbent like Uldis tech company that says, I'm doing it voluntarily, and if it does it without strategic intent to suppress infrastructure competition, that would be fine. Just reacting to the market signals, to energy signals, to sustainability signals, without damaging infrastructure competition.
No, to be fair, I have to add, we are competing.
Okay, I
we are
know.
not so white. And
That's why I said wood. So, thank you very much to my panel, and please give them a big hand.